Hello my friends and welcome to episode 11 of Total War Saga, Thrones of Britannia with Circenn. I'm going to say straight away in this episode that this is a post-com. Recorded this episode and the next one, I always record ahead, and basically the audio failed. So I'm doing a post-com on this episode and the next episode. It happened with Football Manager as well. Last week I had to re-record one of the episodes and do a post-com on one of them, end up with some music through. We're not going to do that today. I've got a bit more time to get this one done, so hopefully I can salvage it better. We're at war in every front right now. We've got the folk to these former allies down in the south. West of our territory, we've got the Orkneyar and the Sudar to the north. It's tough times. In the last episode, we had quite an embarrassing defeat against the Orkneyar, actually, which was slightly embarrassing. In fact, not only was it probably the worst battle I've ever done, probably the worst battle some of you guys have ever seen. So please bear with me on learning stuff like that, because I will learn from those mistakes. We've got an army at Circenn, and I'm trying to remember what I was all thinking, but what I was thinking at this point was I would try and get Strefbrillin to starve them, because if I remember correctly, or at least I thought I remembered correctly at this point, it was a food province, which would starve this army, and that would force the way that they have to do things. We've got 20 stack army from the Gilladale attacking them as well. They're at war with them. They've taken a lot of their territory and they're left with that one province. We could either subjugate them, if I'm right in thinking, or we could just basically eliminate them. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. Got the Orkneyar army still in the north, if I remember correctly as well. I think that's been shown in this episode already, but again, I'm struggling to see everything, keep up with it. And I'm not talking as I was thinking at the time, because as I said, it's a post-com and I'm an episode or two ahead right now, so I'm trying to just remember. I do apologise, guys. So we're having a look, and that, again, I didn't see what that said, so I do apologise. Hopefully you guys seen it. I'm looking on a much smaller screen than what you guys will be capable to with full screen. And we've got our defensive allies in the Strathclyde down there as well. So we've got to take this province in Northern Ireland, and that is the Stone of Destiny. Get a mission for eliminating Orkneyar, vassalise or eliminate Alphacala. That's the former allies that we had. And we've got the same for Strathclyde. That's all our sort of missions just now. And I'm going to try and approach them for vassalisation, but we're actually weaker strength ranking, so there's not really any point, so I decided against it. And it's only +2 influence, so you know, it's not a huge thing. Victory conditions I'm also thinking about as well. Vassalisation is our victory conditions for Long Kingdom. Where there's other ones. What I prefer for Long Kingdom is hold certain provinces, because it gives you something to aim for, whereas vassalisation I feel like isn't the best way, but that's the way it is for some civilizations. Doesn't feel like the right word. Factions is the correct word. That 16 stack army up at Aberdeen, that's going to be a tough one, and then we've got a 7 stack from Sudar right behind them. It's going to be big work. Always confident that battle at Dunfoyder. I absolutely love that map. I believe it's the same map as one of the ones that's in Cornwall, I think. Very interesting map, but for me, I like it as a defensive one, particularly if they come in from the way the AI seems to like to come in. And Alphacala are going to go past, and we're going to get sieged by the Orkneyar at Dunfoyder. But they look like they've merged some of their army. They're down to a 10 stack from that 18 stack that I just mentioned. So, you know, that gives us a bit of extra chance. But it probably doesn't cost them any units. But we're not going to raise out and meet them. We're going to let them come in to us. And we've got raiders coming in the south as well. And we've also got the 2 provinces at the further south as well, but they're looking pretty happy just now. Just -1, which is a fairly low risk of rebellion. And as you'll see here, the Gallowdale took that province that we were trying to take. And what I decided with our army is we're going to go up to Scone rather than go for Sconnan to defend. And we'll see how it goes from there, but we're going to try and take that army out regardless. And what do we research? I'm trying to remember what we researched. We did research the military cavalry. So again, I do apologise, this is a post-com, guys. I know it's not the most ideal. Governor's leveling up's always pretty good, and we're repairing our church. Or did we? Or did we just leave it? I genuinely can't remember now. I think we just left it. But one of the big important things that I was looking at here was trying to sort out the economy. Big reason why we struggled a few turns ago was we basically hadn't recruited looked after the economy. We'd focused so much on recruitment that I felt when we sort of disbanded that army and recruited IED up north, having a focus on the economy was the best and potentially only option. Right now, the IED is the only army we've got in the field, if I'm right in thinking. He was only an 8 stack. You know, it's not the greatest of things in the world. But if I'm right in thinking, they're going to go for Ken Rigmond, or however it's pronounced, which is fairly frustrating for us because that's actually a food province, and we're not getting food either. So confirmed, they do go for that, and we're now going to have our battle at Dunfoyther, and we're going to fight it on the battle map. As I said, I'm fairly comfortable with this. I would have preferred more archers for this because this is the ultimate map. If you've got a lot of archers that are good quality, this is a map you want to be defending on. And this will show you exactly why I was saying that. Is you've got so many rock formations, so many, and you've got like a little pass from the western side, I think it is, the side that's furthest away from the victory point, which makes it harder, and it gives you so many areas. You can have archers on both sides firing down, and you can half their numbers. Just you'll run out of ammunition better than what you'll anywhere else. But this is what I mean. You can have your archers on this ledge right here, just where I'm putting the archers right now, and they can fire down before they even get over the walls, and then you can bring them back over the sort of gorge that they have to go through, while you've got archers or skirmishers on the other side where I'm putting the skirmishers. And they have no choice. If they come in on this side, they have no choice but to go through that. Which allows you to have archers on both sides raining down on them. Another option is you could put an army of infantry down there to try and hold them in there. It's not something I've used personally yet, but it's something I will look at doing at some point, because I think it might actually work better than the tactic that I have been using, which is to have the infantry up at the hill and have them completely tired by the time they get to the infantry, and depleted with the archers, where we might get more out of the archers using that. But as you see, I'm trying to cover off all angles with the spearmen here. Not very good at deploying them, unfortunately. And then we'll have our general sort of sitting around with the cavalry. He's hopefully going to mop up anything that escapes or offer a flanking option. And we'll have swordsmen and axemen sort of helping out the spearmen, basically, is what the plan was. But then I decided to change the area of defence to slightly further forward, because I felt that offered more strategic defence opportunity, covering less of an area. So we're fast forwarding just now, and we're just going to let our archers go ham at them. I think in hindsight that's maybe a bit of a mistake, because they're going to hit the siege weapons rather than aim for men. Or this is actually where I realised it and took them off fire at will, because I didn't want them hitting the siege weapons, because it's just a waste of ammunition, in all honesty. The only thing I would say for this strategy is take off skirmish mode on your archers. I know it's something a lot of people do, but certainly on the side where my archers are, not the skirmishers, where the archers are, even though they're on a cliff face and the units can't get up to them, they still skirmish, and that stops them firing down. Something that I learnt the hard way in a couple of defences on this map. Think in, was it a couple of episodes ago where we done this, I realised it, and I had 2 sets of archers that were doing it, and it was really frustrating, but it was skirmish mode that was causing that. The only other issue is their archers can fire up onto that ledge. It's kind of just in range. Of course, you've got a height advantage, so that's all good. I prefer this style. I would let them have the first wall, let them have the first gatehouse, so take some fire from it, but I really don't mind that. There's not a whole lot of towers on this map to do damage to them anyway. In fact, I think there's only the 2 gatehouses really, and 1 for a sea entrance. Tower wise, it's really not the most defended map in that sense, but it's so good for the rest of your archers. And you've got one that's up on the ledge next to our skirmishers right in the far right, but it doesn't really have the greatest range to hit. But you know, they're not the best place there. If you see, you're just going past the right hand side of the screen, just there. They are going to get through the walls, and then they are going to start taking the gatehouse, but for some reason they don't. One of our siege weapons, they put it there and then they didn't really go through it. They did eventually, but it took them a while. It was almost as if they'd used that to go and help the battering ram. But as you see, the cavalry coming straight through, and I thought that was interesting. They sent their cavalry right in straight away, and as you see, I've moved my archers already across onto the ledge. I can't remember if I'd taken skirmish mode off, so that might show you, but I do consider sending my general down, and I don't fire. I put skirmish mode on by accident there, and as you see them, they already started to move straight away when I done that, and they ended up facing the wrong way. But I decided not to fire on the cavalry because I felt they were more too spread out for the archers to really do any real damage to them, and I debated a couple of times sending the general down to go and get them. My worry was there was a group that was right behind. They were quite clever. It's almost as if they were using this cavalry as scouts, which makes sense because it is scout cavalry. It is very interesting how they work that, I think. And then they do have some archers coming in behind. The horsemen before a set of spearmen. And I'm just kind of letting you see how it goes, and then I do put fire and will on both of them as other units start to come in. But do I target any specific unit? I can't remember if I do. Do remember debating that. Do target the archers. I think that was just more as a protection thing until we could eventually get an aim on the general, which I found very frustrating to do. Because he kept going behind, his little symbol kept going behind the other unit that he was walking with, the Eastman fighters. But we do eventually get him targeted by both archers and skirmishers. And his bodyguard was already weak. We'd done some damage to, I think we'd killed the previous general in that really bad battle in the previous episode. So this one was still recovering. and they eventually do send up their cavalry. And this was quite interesting because it allowed me to basically isolate their cavalry, and if I remember correctly, I sandwiched them with the general and the spearmen, which really wasn't a good place for them to end up sandwiched. As you see, the spearmen, they started to back off, but the general was already closing in, and he was able to catch them, allowing the spearmen to catch up. Did we get their general? I've just missed that. I think we're still focusing. I don't think I did. But as you see, there's cavalry already routing, and I recall the spearmen let the general just mop them up. Eventually I do bring them back. They do come back and send the general in again, see if we can get them off, but I was worried about all those units that were right next to them. But I was kind of just wanting rid of them, and eventually I just gave up because I got them down to 2 where I felt they were no longer a threat, but I was so worried about the rest of the units catching my general, and particularly spearmen. And as you see, my skirmishers coming back across, they're going to go behind the barricade that I put up earlier, and at this point everything's looking pretty low threat against the units that we have, which is fairly helpful because that puts us in a good position. Our skirmishers weren't, our spearmen aren't in great shape against a lot of them, but our swordsmen and our axemen were in brilliant shape, so I was fairly happy with that, those low threat symbols, and down to 39 units in their generals. Bodyguards was quite nice. But as you see, they're already sending in spearmen towards my general, which was never ideal. And our archers taking a bit of a battering. Not really got rid of enough of their ammunition, which was a bit frustrating in that sense. But as you see, all their units start to go for one sort of area, and that allowed me to have a focus on where we were going to go. But our skirmishers didn't go the right way around to get to the barricade. They went to the front of the barricade, and unfortunately for us, that meant they weren't in the right position. And then I see their general falling away from the rest of their troops, so I decide to try and hit them with my general. My general is only low threat against them, or they're low threat against my general, and we've got a charge bonus, so put them into the triangle formation and decided to go and hit them. And at this point I decided to make a move in all sort of angles, sending my spearmen and my troops to deal with the first set of spearmen they had against us there, and we get their general with our general, if I remember correctly. Men are running from the fight. That was our archers that are running from the fight. So that was I think they'd lost to some other archers, but it wasn't too much of a stress. I don't get their general with my general. I had them wavering and pulled them out as other units came across because I didn't want my general to die. But we do get the set of spearmen down. And we've got troops moving in all directions. In fact, we've got a pretty good sandwich on them right now for where they are. And we're going with spearmen into their, or swordsmen. I genuinely can't remember, but I'm instantly get the horses into the routing. The guys that are routing was what I was thinking, and then try and get them into the javelin and archers, take away their aerial advantage, and we've got their our javelins in behind them, which is a great place for javelins to be. And there goes the general for another damage to Orkneyar. We're sending our general into their javelins as well, preventing them from doing hopefully too much damage to us. And again, just moving our javelins around, keeping them in behind, javelins in behind units are so great. There's no defense in the back, and at this point I'm pretty confident of winning. There's a unit of spearmen I don't think I've even moved yet in reserve as well, and we've got our javelins getting in behind, and we're doing damage to them every single place that we can. We've got our general chasing down everyone that's routing, making sure we do as much damage to them as humanly possible as well. Unit was wavering there. I think that is Axeman is wavering, but you know, he's getting support pretty much straight away because everyone else is routing. And you know, at this point we should never lose this battle. We've got numbers absolutely everywhere. They're routing. There's nothing left for them to take, really. And we are just mopping up everyone that's trying to run away. And it actually kind of helped that I'd already started this with my general, because it meant that the ones that were going one way weren't getting out that way, and it was forcing them, the rest of them, to retreat the other way, which allowed me to, as you'll see here, clean them up quite quickly because I could catch up with them. And because they've done that big walk under archer fire as well, they're already pretty exhausted, which I think's an interesting tactic. I know there's other people that do it, is they'll try and exhaust the enemy and have fresh troops, and it helps them with a number advantage. I'm not sure how effective it is, but I'd be very curious. It's something that I'm curious to actually see if it works. But as you see, we're just literally just mopping them up now. That was the plan. The less of them that get away, the less of them that can rebuild. Their closest province might be Aberdeen, but they're not going to retreat straight to there, kind of thing, is what I was thinking. And hopefully this would allow us to rebuild in the north before Suradar came down with their smaller army. I can't even see many white dots left on this on the map. Again, I'm looking at much smaller than what you guys will be able to do, so if there is any white dots you can see better than me, but I'm pretty sure these are the last couple of white dots now that were taken, and that must have been because, and as you see, 613 deployed for them, 613 losses, not a single unit survived. That is the perfect battle, in my opinion, and that's why I love this map. You know, but did we take damage? Yes, we did, but most of our damage was to units that could take it, and it's a garrison, so it replenishes anyway, and it doesn't cost us to replenish. So at that point, the Orkneyar are fairly weak because we've done so much damage to them. You know, we've taken out their big army. I've not seen any major armies. That's the only major army we've seen from Orkneyar in this entire save, despite being at war with them since turn 1. They've done damage to us. They gave us a very embarrassing battle where they should have won, and there's no disputing that. But it was embarrassing in the way that we lost. You know, we didn't really put up a fight the way that I normally would. And if you missed that, check out the last episode. It's embarrassing for me, I will admit to it. But as you see, they have sacked Ken Rigimond, so I decided to go to Sconnin to try and catch them out and meet them elsewhere. I've got a bit of money in the kitty right now as well, which I decide to invest in upgrades. But this is me just seeing how much everything's cost down, what it's going to offer, the happiness, the corruption. If I'm right in thinking, oh, this province actually has 0% corruption, so looking at the minus corruption wasn't really worthwhile. And then I'm also comparing that to what we need to do to unlock technology trees, because sometimes having the right technology tree is helpful and very, very important. I believe the Moot Hall upgrade, which is what I just did, does actually unlock a technology tree, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the trees that I'm not particularly interested in studying. I genuinely can't remember. you guys would have seen that, or we can go back and pause on each one. Garrison took a fair battering there, but are we going to raise an army? I can't remember if I did or not. We're raising an army. So we've got the market option and -15 recruitment for swords, or 10% to govern province. So we went for the guy that has lower recruitment because it seemed like the best option, and we stick him in. He's going to support that garrison just now. You can't get to Aberdeen this turn, you might be able to next turn. And then you've got the Suderar army just ahead of him. But Aberdeen is a food province. It'd be so important for us to have that and actually hold it for any period of time, because food is great and very, very important when it comes to defending this kind of territory, because food is of course so important. However, right now we've not got that defence, we've not been able to keep anything in the north, and we're focusing on the sort of more southern reaches of our main territory. Always forget we have those two little settlements down south. So when I refer to the south of the territory, I'm referring to Edinburgh, and in line with that. But we'll see how this turn goes. Obviously that army of our former allies, whose name always eludes me, is starving. They have no provinces. It's almost horde mode, as if you like, from Attila. Only they can't settle down and do anything. But I believe, if I'm right in thinking, they did take Ken Rigmonder, and the Gileadel, or Gileadel, however you pronounce it, for that faction, are coming down and hunting them as well. We obviously have that mission for eliminating them though, so I want to make sure we get that. I want us to be the guys that get the final hit. You know, we didn't get a chance to get any hits on them, but I want to make sure we get the final hit. That Suderar army didn't move, but it's getting stronger. It's up to 9 rather from 7 last turn. But we're going to go up. We're going to take Aberdeen. They can't reach Aberdeen, but we've taken our food province back. That's so important. Food only went up by about 22, I think it was there, which isn't ideal, because it doesn't really do anything for us. But you know, every little extra bit of food helps. They did not take that Ken Rigmond. I thought they did for some reason in this turn, but you know, we've chased them down, hunted them down. We're just going to auto resolve because it's such a routine battle. I did kind of want to battle it, but somehow they ended up with men. But by killing them, that was it, and that was the end of the Alfocala. That was our mission complete, and that faction is no more. And now we just have a 20 stack enemy who's just gained a lot of territory over the last few turns. But you see, legitimacy has increased as well, which is plus loyalty for all characters and plus 3 melee skill for all units in all armies. And we're going to get this army healing up nicely in Ken Rigmond. And trying to see what we're doing here. So we're just going to repair those buildings that were sacked. Cost us quite a bit of money to do that, actually, in hindsight, and maybe don't do that. And here we are going to ask for a declaration of friendship, but they're not interested, so we're not even going to try offering. But we are improving with relations with them. As you see, Northliord are improving, Orkney are improving, and Suderar are improving as well. We're going to see if we can get peace treaties. So they're intrigued by it. So that makes me think we might be able to get peace. And with 400, it was sufficient. So I went and offered 300. We couldn't go any lower than that. And as soon as you come away, it goes back to 300. So we offer 300, and we get peace with Orkney, which will give us a break, and that leaves us just at war with Suderar, which gives us only one enemy to focus on. and with one enemy just to focus on. That's just one enemy at a time, which helps out a lot in this game, because you're only ever looking at one front, which was our big problem at the start. Was we ended up having to look at so many different areas for where armies were coming from, and the North Lord were quite clever at that as well. They had one up the north and one down the south. By the time we managed to get rid of the one in the north, the one in the south was causing problems, and then the Sudar were coming in just after that. They had got through the ally we'd had in the north. Again, I can't remember what they were called off the top of my head right now, but they're no longer in the game. Because the Sudar made very light work of them. And again, it doesn't look like we're going to get this Declaration of Friendship. And the only reason why I was even looking at this was because I thought, do you know what would be really good was if we could get that Declaration of Friendship. It protects us from two sides, because we've got Strathclyde in the south, who are defensive allies, who would look after us if we had a enemy declare war on us, but they would also give us a Declaration of Friendship in the west, which would isolate us specifically just to the north. As you see, Sudar coming forward with a 10 stack army towards our newly found army, which has just taken Aberdeen, which I don't think is anywhere near strong enough to take on a 10 stack Sudar army. They have some pretty good units, if I am informed correctly. So that's why also one of the reasons why I wanted to focus on them, because I believe what I'm told is their late game units are extremely good, particularly infantry wise, and we're just not able to produce enough archers or crossbowmen to actually give us any chance of dealing with it. So obviously he doesn't actually have anyone else in his army, this general, but we're going to recruit some. We're going to get some Alban crossbowmen, some skirmishers, and the reason why I went for them was specifically because I know the way this territory is defensively. Defensively, I know if I've got a lot of archers and skirmishers, I'm going to have a good time. And I'm just having a look at all his traits. So as you see, he actually has some pretty decent traits in amongst his skill tree. So he is a pretty good commander for us. If you want to have a look at those properly, go and pause the video. I did go through them at the time, but I can't keep up with the video and talk about it at the same time while I'm doing a post-com. I do apologise, guys. It's also partly because I've not really done any post-coms before either. And am I recruiting for IED here as well? I cannot remember if I did or not. I really don't think it's a good idea to recruit in the south. I'd much rather in hindsight be recruiting in the north. That's without me giving spoilers away as well, but I just think, looking at this, not playing the game right now, recruiting in the north is where the threat is. So I don't really understand why I'm recruiting in the south, but I've done it. Makes very little sense to me why I've done that, but it is what it is. Got one turn away from our military upgrade with the horses. We've got 13 army units combined between two armies, one in the north, one in the south. The three units of them in the north where we are under attack, and 10 in the south where we are now completely safe. And we're having a look at, again, just all the south tree. Again, if you want to have a look at these properly, hit the pause button on each one, but I think they're the same for the majority of the factions on Total War, so if you've got the game, you can even go through it on your faction. Not all of the trees are unlockable for every faction, I believe. I think there's some of them you need to build a certain building that's not actually achievable with a certain faction. I'm not sure what those buildings are with what factions. I will try and find that out for you at some point in the near future. And we're going to end another turn. And we're going to see kind of just what everyone else does. Studadar is the only one that's really of any importance to us right now. Maybe the North Leod could attack us from the south and put a spanner in the works, but I think Studadar is the only real enemy that we have. They've now got a 12 stack army. We'd obviously retreated and gave up Aberdeen because we knew we couldn't take them on with the army we had. Feels like watching this back how slow it is between turns. Never feels that slow when you're actually playing the game. But eventually that turn is going to end with some rebels taking a province down south. Made vassalized a minor Irish kingdom. And what I'm thinking here in hindsight is, let's just instantly recruit. In the north, we've obviously lost Aberdeen in the north. But on that, guys, that is where this episode is going to end. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies for the post-com. Hit like for me putting effort into this video, please. And hit subscribe, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.